Hello, this is Gary at Jack Raven Bushcraft. Thank you for watching our video. This week I'm going to talk about the hazards of camping under beech trees. Beech is one of my favourite tree species. We are fortunate enough to have a good number of mature beech trees in this woodland. Actually, one of my favourite things to do, and I would encourage you to do as well, in the spring, if you get the opportunity to walk through a beech wood on a sunny day, do so. When that light hits those kind of translucent leaves, the shade of green that comes through, the shade of light that comes through to the woodland floor is just fantastic. So yeah, I would absolutely encourage you to have a little wander in a beech wood in the spring. When I'm taking groups out on a tree identification and use walk, what I'll often say with beech is don't camp underneath them. So they have this nickname of the widowmaker, and this is because they will drop limbs. So other species will do it as well. Oak and ash also have a bit of a reputation for doing that, but in my experience, it is beech that is the most likely to drop those limbs. What is probably going on there is that it typically seems to be limbs lower down on the tree that fall, and as the tree grows upwards, as it's getting taller, the branches and their leaves lower down aren't collecting as much sunlight, so they're not producing as much energy. And so there comes a point where the tree just kind of decides that, and when I say decide here, of course it is in a very loose sense, but the tree kind of calculates that it is no longer getting enough energy from that particular limb lower down, and so it basically cuts the supply off and down it will tumble. As best as I could tell, or as far as my knowledge goes, there is no real way of telling when a beech is going to drop a limb. They just kind of do. And so I just want to show a couple of examples of beech in our own woods here that have dropped limbs in the well, very recently, in fact. This particular limb came down a couple of weeks ago. So it is that one. That's a sizable branch that's fallen down. To give an indication of the size of this limb bough that has fallen, here it is. This is from about this way. It's not it's oval rather than a circle. This way it's about 30 centimeters. This direction it's closer to 45. So that's a sizable piece of wood that's come tumbling down from the tree there. As the branch came down, it took out a couple of limbs on this oak as well, so there was collateral damage, and you could see a bunch of the wood that's left behind. So we've cleared up here. These are some of the logs and brush that are remaining. This one fell down about 3 weeks ago. You'd see, if we follow it up, it is still attached to the tree. Hence why this is still in leaf. We've still got beech nuts growing on it. But again, we get back up there. It's a little smaller, this branch, but I'm going to estimate that as still being probably somewhere in the region of 20 to 25 centimeters. So here, this kind of diameter, that's really going to spoil your night if it falls on you as you're asleep. I'm aware of 2 incidents where beech have dropped limbs when there have been people around. So I have a friend of mine who was at a festival a few years ago, and in the camping area, the festival organisers had they'd done their risk assessment. They'd seen that there was some beech in the camping field, and so they cordoned them off. And this was a good move on their part, because partway through the night, one of the beech did indeed drop a limb. And if you haven't heard it, the noise is incredible. And the people at the festival thought that a bomb had gone off, and so everyone was kind of running around fearing the worst. Fortunately, as I say, they'd actually cordoned that area off and nobody was hurt. I'm also aware of a scout camp where some of the scouts had pitched up underneath a beech tree, so they hadn't done their risk assessment, and again the tree dropped a branch, a bough, and it squashed the tent. And very fortunately there was no one in it, but those are two real life examples on top of the two that I've just shown you in our own woodland. So just to reiterate, my advice would always be, don't camp under a beech. I hope that's something you found useful, something that you can take with you on your own bushcraft adventures. I'll try my best to get some more content out next week. You can make sure you don't miss out on that by subscribing either to our YouTube channel or to our blog, both of which are Jack Raven Bushcraft. In the meantime, take care.